Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. In today's video, we are going to talk about the 5 things you should never do when you're trying to sell your house. Again, my name is Jordan Rossman, realtor with Century 21, and let's get started. So, number one thing you should never do when you're trying to sell your house is be at home during showings. I can't tell you how many times I've gone to a showing with my buyers. We walk in the door, the house looks great, the curb appeal is fantastic. We're really excited. Maybe it's the first house we've seen, maybe it's the fourth house we've seen that day. We walk through the door and the owners are there. And immediately, my buyers and myself included sort of go from that excited, curious feel when you walk through the front door of a house to sort of, it all kind of stops. We're not sure if the owner's going to be weird, or they're going to want to take us on a tour, or they're going to want to talk to us forever. So immediately we feel a little uneasy. Now, the other important thing to consider with this is that when a buyer is walking through the house, they want to, if it's a couple or if it's just a single buyer, they want to be able to feel comfortable. They want to start to feel comfortable in the house. Ultimately, that's a huge deciding factor whether they decide to put an offer in or not. And, without the ability to speak freely as they're walking through the house, maybe they love this, or they say, hey, I'd love to change that, or I really don't like this. When the seller is at the house during the showing, you can't really speak freely. So really good tip to help the buyers feel comfortable when you're selling your house. Really try not to be home during showings. So tip number 2, something you should never do when you're trying to sell your house, is don't leave your pets running around the house during showings. You may love your pets. I'm sure they're all great, but, and some buyers may love pets, but not all buyers are going to love pets. I know for myself, walking through a house, if you see a few cats and you get a little bit of that smell, you start to wonder, if the homeowners have taken care of their pets, or, is there damage caused by the pets? So, really it can be tough to try and coordinate things, but really try and have the pets out of the house during showings. So third thing you should never do when you're trying to sell your house is to leave a mess. I know sometimes showings can be 1 or 2 or 3 hours notice. The best course of action is when you leave for work in the morning, or leave for wherever you're going, make sure the house is clean and tidy. Make sure you leave the lights on. Us realtors spend a ton of time and money on making the online presence of your house look fantastic, in an effort to try and get buyers to come in. And it's really a shame when, they walk through the door, they're loving the house, and they walk in the kitchen and there's dishes in the sink, or they walk into the bedroom and there's laundry on the floor. It just sort of, although a lot of buyers can look past it, it sort of gives that impression that, maybe the house isn't taken care of that well. So, easy rule of thumb, just when you leave the house in the morning, make sure it's clean, because you might get that last minute showing, and you really want every showing to, be the best it can be. Number 4, thing you should never do when you're trying to sell your house is really, you should never sell your house and put it up on the market without having a professional photographer and a professional staging consultant. A lot of times when you list a house, you get one shot at this. So in today's market, houses are going pretty quickly. They usually sell within the first week or 2, depending on the price point. You've got one opportunity to wow the buyers. If a house starts to sit on the market for too long, and then you start changing strategies, then people start to wonder. They also start to think, maybe they're desperate to sell. I don't need to pay as much. So it's really good to start off strong. Get a professional photographer in there. Get a staging consultant in there. More importantly, get a realtor who's going to provide those services, so that from day 1 of the listing, your house looks awesome both online and in person. And the last thing you should never do when you're selling a house, never put your house up on the market without knowing the exact marketing plan for your house. Not only not knowing the marketing plan, but having a conversation with your realtor about what the marketing plan is going to look like, and having realistic expectations of what the whole process is going to look like, what the online presence is going to be, how many showings can I expect. All that sort of stuff is really important to know before you list, so that there's no surprises. The selling process can be a lot of fun. It can be really stressful for a lot of people. You're selling your biggest investment, so really important to know exactly what you're getting into before you put your house on the market. So there we go. Top 5 things you should never do when you're selling your house. Again, to recap, you should never be home during showings. You should never have your pets home during showings. You should always clean up and never leave a mess, because you don't know when that last minute showing is going to come. You should never put your house on the market without a professional photographer and staging consultant coming in and doing their jobs first. And you should never put your house on the market without knowing the exact marketing plan that your realtor's got in place, and what the process is going to look like. So again, thanks for watching. My name is Jordan Rossman with Century 21. Stay tuned for more videos to come.